You know the story. December 7th, 1941. Pearl Harbor burns. America enters the war. But almost nobody talks about what happens 3 years later when Japan fires back across 5,000 miles of ocean using paper, hydrogen, and winter wind. A weapon that floats, silent, invisible on radar, 33 feet wide, carrying bombs, launched from coastal Honshu in November 1944. 9,300 of them released into the jet stream between November and April 1945. About 300 reached North America. One kills 6 Americans in Oregon. The only enemy-inflicted civilian deaths on the continental United States during World War II. How does a balloon cross an ocean? Why does Japan build it? And what happens when a pastor's wife and 5 children find one in the woods? April 18th, 1942. 16 American B-25 bombers lift off the deck of the USS Hornet. Lieutenant Colonel James Doolittle leads them. Target, Tokyo. They drop bombs. Minimal damage. Massive humiliation. Japan's home islands are supposed to be untouchable. Now the Emperor's subjects see American planes overhead. The raid kills 50 civilians, injures 400, but the psychological wound cuts deeper. Japan's military command demands retaliation. The problem? They have no bomber that can reach the American mainland and return. Submarines try. September 1942. The I-17 surfaces off California and shells the Elwood oil facility near Santa Barbara with its 5.5-inch deck gun. A dozen rounds, 1 storage tank damaged, 1 derrick destroyed. Fear spreads, but the attack changes nothing. The same month, Warrant Officer Nobuo Fujita flies a Yokosuka E-14Y seaplane launched from submarine I-25 off the Oregon coast. He drops 2 incendiary bombs in Siskiyou National Forest. The fires start. Response crews contain them. The program ends. Japan needs something else, something that doesn't require fuel for a return trip, something cheap, something that uses the wind itself as propulsion. The balloon bomb. The idea isn't new. The Imperial Japanese Army's 9th Technical Research Institute at Noborito has been experimenting since 1933. Lieutenant General Reikichi Tada starts a program called Fugo, wind chip weapon. Early prototypes are 13 feet in diameter with time fuses. Range, 70 miles. But in late 1942, after Doolittle, the project gets new orders, make it cross the Pacific. In mid-1942, Noborito explores options. Long-range bombers that can make one-way sorties to the west coast, bomb-laden seaplanes launched from submarines. None of them work at scale. Then Major General Tsuyoshi Kusaba takes command. Technical Major Teiji Takada joins the team. They study the jet stream. Japanese meteorologist Wasaburo Oishi discovered it in the 1920s. High-altitude winds flowing west to east over Japan at speeds up to 200 miles per hour. Altitudes above 30,000 feet. In late 1943, the Army consults Hidetoshi Arakawa of the Central Meteorological Observatory. He uses Oishi's data. He calculates that a balloon maintaining altitude between 30,000 and 35,000 feet can reach North America in 30 to 100 hours. The strongest winds blow November through March, speeds approaching 200 miles per hour. This is the window. This is the weapon. 3 redundant units calibrated for altitudes between 25,000 and 27,000 feet. When the balloon drops below this range, the system electrically fires a charge. The charge cuts loose sandbags. 32 sandbags mounted around a cast aluminum 4-spoke wheel. Each bag connected to gunpowder blowout plugs. The bags release 2 at a time to keep the wheel balanced. Each release happens 2 minutes after the previous one. When the balloon rises above 38,000 feet, an altimeter activates a valve. Hydrogen vents. The balloon descends. A separate altimeter set between 13,000 and 20,000 feet controls bomb release. A 1-hour activating fuse ignites at launch. This gives the balloon time to ascend above both thresholds. Tests in August 1944 show success. Several balloons release radiosonde signals for up to 80 hours, maximum time allowed by the batteries. Designated B-type. The Army's version is A-type. Tests in August 1944 fail. The balloons burst immediately after reaching altitude. Faulty rubberized seams. The Navy program consolidates under Army control. Rubber becomes scarce as the war continues. The solution, paper, not ordinary paper, Washi, made from fibers of the kozo bush, a member of the mulberry tree family. The fibers are glued together with paste manufactured from konnyaku, a potato-like vegetable. The result is tough, canvas-like. A balloon found in Alaska in 1954 is examined by Army intelligence. Their report notes the envelope is so durable that 2 men pulling at it cannot tear it apart. Production requires labor. Schoolgirls are conscripted. 7 factories around Tokyo, usually theaters or large arenas. 3 industrial firms are contracted. Mitsubishi Saishi Paper Factory, Nippon Kokoken Company, Kokuka Rubber Company. The girls work in shifts. They paste together balloon sections. They don't know what they're building. Only 300 balloons are made from rubberized silk. The rest are washi paper. Production goal, 10,000 balloons. Actual number launched, 9,300. 4 11-pound thermite incendiary devices. Steel tubes 16 inches long, 4 inches in diameter, mechanical impact fuses, 1 type. 92 33-pound high explosive anti-personnel bomb, picric acid or TNT core, surrounded by shrapnel rings. Sometimes the anti-personnel bomb is replaced with a single 12-kilogram incendiary. 19 49-foot shroud lines connect the envelope to the undercarriage. The undercarriage holds the altitude control device, the ballast mechanism, the ring of sandbags, the bombs. A single-cell 2.3-volt battery powers the system. The 2-pound demolition block of picric acid is designed to destroy the mechanism in midair after mission completion. A flash bomb attaches to the undercarriage by a 64.5-foot fuse. When the undercarriage explodes, the fuse burns until it ignites the hydrogen. Brilliant airborne explosion, complete destruction of evidence. That's the plan. Number 9 in 1973, and Ross Cohen's Fugo, The Curious History of Japan's Balloon Bomb Attack on America, University of Nebraska Press, 2014. Makesh's work includes direct intelligence debriefings from Japanese personnel responsible for the campaign. Cohen's research draws on declassified U.S. military documents and interviews with survivors. Now back to the information. 3 launch sites are prepared on coastal Honshu. Ibaraki Prefecture, 2 stations at Otsu, 9 launch stations total. 1st Battalion, headquarters and 3 squadrons, 1,500 men. Chiba Prefecture, Ichinomiya, 6 launch stations. 2nd Battalion, 700 men and 3 squadrons. Fukushima Prefecture, Nikoso, 6 launch stations. 3rd Battalion, 600 men and 2 squadrons. Special Balloon Regiment. Each launch requires 30 personnel. Takes 30 minutes to 1 hour. Good weather and favorable winds allow 200 to 300 balloons per day. The first balloon lifts on November 3rd, 1944, chosen to honor Emperor Meiji's 92nd birthday. His grandson, Emperor Hirohito, is now on the throne. Major Takeda watches the first launch. He later describes it. The balloon visible only for several minutes until it fades away as a spot in the blue sky like a daytime star. Before the armed balloons launch, the Navy sends a test, November 2nd. Unarmed B-type balloon, carrying radio sonde equipment. It travels beyond radio range, keeps floating. The U.S. Navy recovers most of it on November 4th, 68 miles from the Southern California coast, Channel Islands. First indication the Allies have that a Japanese balloon program exists. They don't yet understand the scope. The Japanese expect 10% to reach America, around 900. Current research agrees about 300 are found or observed. Many more likely land in unpopulated areas. Some never make it, burst over the Pacific, deflate in mid-flight, drift off course. But enough reach the target. November 14th, 1944, an A-type balloon is found in the ocean off Kailua, Hawaii. December 6th, Thermopolis, Wyoming, 800 miles inland from the Pacific coast. Explosion of bright red flame. What appears to be a parachute descending. Fragments of a 15-kilogram anti-personnel bomb found the next day, December 11th, near Kalispell, Montana. Intact Fugo balloon. December 31st, Estacada, Oregon, another balloon. January 4th, 1945, Medford, Oregon. Explosion. Shallow crater. Flames 20 feet into the air. American officials don't believe at first that balloons could come directly from Japan. Early theories, launched from German prisoner of war camps, Japanese-American internment centers, coastal submarines. As more balloons arrive, the truth becomes clear. The military realizes this is a weapon system. A new type. Intercontinental range. No propulsion. No steering. Just wind. December 14th, 1944. Western News in Libby, Montana reports a balloon find. January 1st, 1945. Time magazine discloses details. A 70-foot fuse connected to a small incendiary bomb. The FBI discovers Japanese printing on the bag. Factory completion date, October 31st. Information about work shifts. Hours spent in manufacture. Japanese characters, all visible. January 2nd. The Oregonian in Portland runs the story on the front page. Then silence. January 4th, 1945. U.S. Office of Censorship sends a confidential memo to newspaper editors and radio broadcasters. Request, give no publicity to balloon incidents. Fear, panic among civilians. Information to the enemy about where balloons are landing, targeting intelligence Japan could use. The media complies. Cooperation described as excellent 3 months later. The blackout works. The Imperial Army learns of only one balloon incident from the Chinese newspaper Ta Kung Pao, December 18th, 1944. Article about the Kalispell find. Japan tries propaganda, February 17th, 1945. Domi News Agency broadcasts directly to America in English. Claims 500 to 10,000 casualties. Fires caused. Warning that balloons are a prelude to something big. None of it true. The silence baffles them. Balloon remnants. Balloons fall into rivers, tumble onto forest roads, drop onto power lines, interrupt electric service. Military pilots scramble to intercept. Search radars deployed. 4th Air Force launches Project Sunset in early April. Fully operational by June. Ground-controlled interception sites in coastal Washington. The project detects nothing, canceled in early August. Attempts to track radiosonde balloons produce 95 suspected signals. Little use. Very low proportion of balloons carry transmitters. Signals fade as balloons approach. Experiments in February 1945 to determine radar reflectivity fail. Fighter planes engage balloons in midair. Little success. Inaccurate sighting reports. Bad weather. Very high altitude. Around 20 balloons shot down by American warplanes. One near Alturas, California. Navy P-38. Lightning uses British anti-buzz bomb tactics. Slipstream forces the balloon to lower altitude. Machine gun bullets lace the bag. Gradual loss of gas. Gentle landing. Recovered with all remaining ballast, bombs, and release mechanisms intact. Shipped to Moffett Field, Sunnyvale, California. Basis for Western Defense Command's first detailed report on the new weapon. Military response expands. Western Defense Command, 4th Air Force, 9th Service Command organize Firefly Project. Stinson L-5. Sentinel aircraft. Douglas C-47 Skytrain aircraft. 2,700 troops. 200 paratroopers from the All-Blacks 555th Parachute Infantry Battalion. Deployed in 36 firefighting missions between May and October 1945. The Triple Nickels, smoke jumpers. They make 1,200 jumps, fight 36 forest fires. Not from balloon bombs, just regular fires. The balloons cause no forest fires. Winter and early spring conditions, damp, snow. Not conducive to ignition. The strategic purpose fails. The Western Defense Command also launches Lightning Project. Health and agricultural officers, veterinarians, 4-H clubs, instructions to report any new diseases of crops or livestock. Potential biological warfare, stocks of decontamination chemicals shipped to key points in western states. Plan not formalized until July 1945. Aero subsection provides rapid air transportation of balloon remains to Technical Air Intelligence Center Laboratory in Washington, D.C. Biological analysis. A U.S. investigation after the war concludes there were no plans for chemical or biological payloads, but the concern was real. Japan had been working on biological weapons. Unit 731 at Pingfan in northeast China, anthrax, Yersinia pestis, cowpox viruses, enough to infect the whole United States. Emperor Hirohito reportedly did not approve deployment on balloon bombs. October 25, 1944. Report from Chief of Staff Umezu. Biological warfare not realized, but America doesn't know that in early 1945. Balloons spread across the continent. Finds in 26 states, Alaska to Michigan, northern Mexico, Attu Island in the Aleutians, Nogales, Arizona on the Mexican border, Grand Rapids, Michigan, Farmington, Michigan, 10 miles from Detroit, Kansas, Iowa, Nebraska, the Dakotas, Texas, Utah, Nevada, Colorado, Wyoming, Montana, Idaho, Canada, British Columbia, Yukon. The range is staggering. Most balloons fail to release bomb loads when they arrive. Mechanical failures. Fuse malfunctions, uneven ballast distribution, variability in jet stream, meanders cause balloons to veer north toward Alaska, south into Mexico. Wide latitudinal range. But some work exactly as designed, and one will kill. Population around 1,000, Lumbertown, Klamath County, southeastern Oregon, 50 miles east of Klamath Falls by highway. Fremont National Forest surrounds the area. Reverend Archie Mitchell, age 27, pastor of Christian and Missionary Alliance Church. His wife Elsie. Born Elsie Winters in Port Angeles, Washington. Age 26, 5 months pregnant. First child. They've been in Bly for a short time. New post. Archie invites 5 children from Sunday school on a picnic. Gearhart Mountain. Beautiful spring day. Bubbling brooks. Ponderosa pines. The children, Edward Engen, 13. Jay Gifford, 13. Dick Patsky, 14. His sister Joan Patsky, 13. Sherman Shoemaker, 11. Archie drives. Elsie had baked a chocolate cake the night before. She felt unwell that morning, carsick, but she decides she feels decent enough to go. They lumber up a 1-lane gravel road, 13 miles northeast of Bly. Archie parks the car. Elsie and the children head down toward Leonard Creek, explore a knoll. Archie stays behind, unloads picnic baskets, fishing rods. Then he hears them. "Look what we found, dear," Elsie's voice. Archie knows. He's heard of Japanese balloons. Reports have reached local authorities despite the media blackout. Small communities know. He shouts a warning. Don't touch it. Too late. A terrible explosion. Archie burns his hands trying to stop fire consuming his wife's clothes. A second explosion startles him. Hopeless. She dies. A fragmentation bomb carried across the ocean in a paper balloon filled with hydrogen. 5,000 miles, 60 to 70 hours. Silent, invisible, deadly. An army investigation later concludes the bomb had likely been kicked or dropped. It had lain undisturbed for about 1 month before the incident. Winter snow, then spring thaw, then discovery, the only deaths from enemy action on the continental United States during World War II. Ordnance expert from Lakeview Naval Air Station removes remaining explosives. 4 incendiary bombs, still attached, deactivated. The phone operator in Bly, 16-year-old Juanita Connor, receives orders. Accept no calls except military, send out no information. Angry locals congregate outside the telephone office, banging on windows, banging on doors. They've lost phone privileges without explanation. Connor handles it as best she can, frightened. Ironically, Dick and Joan Patsky were in Connor's kitchen that morning. They invited Juanita and her sister to join the picnic. The girls declined. May 7th, 1945, Klamath Falls Herald and News. Front page. 6 killed by explosion of undetermined origin. No details. Close-knit Bly knows the truth, but follows directives. Code of silence. May 9th, mass funeral in Klamath Falls for 4 of the children. 450 people attend. Sherman Shoemaker's body sent to Live Oak, California. Family plot. Elsie Mitchell's body returned to Port Angeles. Funeral. Burial in Ocean View Cemetery. Monument erected, recalling the tragedy. Reassure the nation that attacks are scattered and aimless. No military threat. Sufficient information to avoid further casualties. Not enough to encourage the enemy. But by then, Germany has surrendered. May 8th. Headlines dominated by victory in Europe. News of the Bly deaths, the strange mechanism, overshadowed. Dizzying pace of finale in European theater. Families grieve in relative obscurity. For decades, some are met with skepticism. Outright disbelief. Their stories sound impossible. Balloons from Japan, across the Pacific, killing Americans in Oregon. But it happened. Directly from Lieutenant Colonel Terato Kunitake's debriefings of the Army General Staff and Major Inouye's technical reports, as well as declassified Western Defense Command assessments and Office of Censorship memoranda published in Cohen's 2014 University of Nebraska press study. Now back to the story. Mid-April, Japan lacks resources to continue. Paper in short supply, hydrogen in short supply, kozo trees depleted. American B-29s have bombed the Showa Denko chemical plant, heavily limited hydrogen production. Second factor, lack of evidence that balloons are reaching America, causing damage, no reports, no news. The censorship works perfectly, the silence convinces them. Project failure. No intention to revive it when jet stream regains strength in fall 1945. The campaign ends not from American military action, but from censorship and silence. Japanese propaganda broadcasts in February claim wild success. 500 to 10,000 casualties, major fires. Prelude to something big. None of it confirmed. No intelligence to support continuation. Resources allocated elsewhere. The weapon that could have been devastating dies from information starvation. Microscopic and chemical examination. Diatoms, microscopic sea creatures, mineral composition, 52% hypersthene, heavy mineral, augite in abundance, volcanic origin, granitic sand grains, unusual trace minerals, no coral, small mollusk fragments, foraminifera species previously described only in Japanese geologic papers, beaches north of Tokyo, eastern shore of Honshu, Dr. Clarence S. Ross determines 1 sample, beach sand from vicinity of Shiogama. Other samples, likely from Ichinomiya, 40 miles southeast of Tokyo. Forensic geology, precise, definitive. Too late to matter. By the time analysis completes, offensive almost over, but it proves the method. Forensic geology becomes permanent part of FBI, continues solving mysteries to present day. About 100 miles west of Bly, 2014, Lumbee, British Columbia, complete with live bomb. Royal Canadian Navy bomb disposal team safely detonates. 2019, McBride, British Columbia, live bomb attached. Experts believe not all balloons recovered, most lost in ocean. Pacific Northwest residents advised caution, still potentially lethal, 80 years later. Site of explosion. August 20th, dedication. Oregon Governor Douglas McKay speaks. Mitchell family members' casualties just as surely as if they had been in uniform. Native stone, bronze plaque, names of victims. Elsie Mitchell, 26. Sherman Shoemaker, 11. Edward Engen, 13. Jay Gifford, 13. Joan Patsky, 13. Dick Patska, 14. Statement. Who died here May 5th, 1945 by Japanese bomb explosion. Only place on American continent where death resulted from enemy action during World War II. Transferred to Fremont-Winema National Forest, 1998. Listed on National Register of Historic Places, 2003. Mitchell Recreation Area. Maintained by U.S. Forest Service. Picnic tables, campfire rings, vault toilet, 13 miles northeast of Bly. Accessible by County Road 1259, formerly Campbell Road. A ponderosa pine near the site bears scars on its trunk. Bomb shrapnel, still visible. Physical evidence decades later. University of Michigan professor Yuzuru John Takashita facilitates connection. He was incarcerated as Japanese-American child during war in California. Committed to healing, learns wife of childhood friend built bombs as young girl. Facilitates correspondence between former schoolgirls and Bly residents. Women fold 1,000 paper cranes. Symbol of regret, symbol of peace. Lives lost. They meet face to face in Bly. Documentary on Paper Wings by filmmaker Ilana Saul captures meetings. 1995, 50th anniversary. 6 cherry trees planted at monument. Former schoolgirls. Bly community. 2 trees still standing today. Powerful sight. 2 cultures. Peace. Forgiveness. Betty Mitchell, sister of Joan and Dick Patsky, later marries Archie Mitchell, June 1st, 1947, recent graduate of Simpson Bible Institute. They continue missionary work. 1962, Archie kidnapped by communist guerrillas in South Vietnam. June 1st, never heard from again. Fate dealing cruel blows twice. Just atmospheric science, meteorology, engineering. Jet stream discovered. Understood? Weaponized. High altitude winds. 30,000 to 38,000 feet. 120 to 185 miles per hour. Sometimes topping 200. Natural propulsion system, passive weapon, drift device, paths dictated by wind patterns, course control through altitude maintenance, barometric sensors, automated ballast release, automated gas venting, self-correcting system, no human intervention after launch, 60 to 100 hours flight time, 5,000 to 6,200 miles distance, 2 to 3 days, some flights lasting up to 100 hours, maximum battery capacity, the engineering elegant, the execution flawed, the timing wrong, winter launch window, damp forests, snow cover, not conducive to fires. Strategic goal, ignite massive forest fires in Pacific Northwest. Spread panic, tax firefighting resources, divert war effort, psychological impact, none of it happens. No forest fires attributed to offensive, scattered explosions, minimal damage, 6 deaths, tragic, but not war-changing, military failure, scientific success. Over 2,000 military personnel, coastal defense, firefighting, biological warfare monitoring, intelligence analysis, forensic geology, radar surveillance, fighter interception, forest ranger coordination, media censorship, comprehensive, multi-layered, effective, especially censorship. That's what kills program, not bombs, not interceptions. Information denial. Japan launches blind, receives no feedback, no confirmation, no intelligence to adjust strategy, no morale boost, just silence. They conclude failure, allocate resources elsewhere, cancel program. Media cooperation described by Office of Censorship as excellent. No question refusal to publish information baffled Japanese, annoyed them, hindered them. Important contribution to security. 1 article slips through. Chinese newspaper, everything else blocked. Perfect operational security through voluntary compliance. Newspapers, radio, everyone cooperates. Public kept unaware until May 22nd. After Bly, after Germany surrenders, after program already ended, 7% success rate if goal was arrival, 0% if goal was fires, 0.065% if measured by casualties versus launches. 6 deaths from 9,300 balloons. But firsts matter. First intercontinental weapon. First automated long-range delivery system. First weaponization of jet stream. First trans-Pacific atmospheric warfare. First use of paper as primary structural material in weapon of war. First mass production involving schoolgirl labor for weapon construction. First weapon defeated primarily by censorship rather than military action. First enemy weapon to kill civilians on U.S. mainland in World War II. Last enemy weapon to kill civilians on U.S. mainland in World War II. Only enemy weapon to kill civilians on U.S. mainland in World War II. All firsts, all lasts, all onlys. Japanese records destroyed. August 15th, 1945. Directive issued day, Japan announces surrender. All Fugo program records destroyed. Compliance total. Thus, single interview becomes primary source. Lieutenant Colonel Terato Kunitake, Army General Staff, Major Inouye. Nearly all information on project objectives. American side, 2,700 Firefly troops, 20 fighter interceptions, radar stations. Intelligence personnel, geological analysis, media coordination, censorship apparatus, Forest Service mobilization, unknown total cost, Japanese side, 3 battalions, 2,800 men, 3 launch complexes, 21 launch stations, 7 factories, conscripted schoolgirl labor, 9,300 balloons, paper, hydrogen, components, transportation, unknown total cost, return on investment, strategic failure, tactical failure, 6 enemy casualties, no fires, no panic. Censored news means no psychological impact, but technical achievement, significant. Proof of concept, intercontinental atmospheric weapon delivery, foundation for future, yes. ICBM development studies, Fugo, atmospheric research continues, jet stream mapping improves, balloon technology advances, unintended legacy. No more launches. Finds continue, each one dangerous. 1954, northeastern Alaska, northernmost balloon discovered. Paper so durable, 2 men cannot tear it. Engineering quality confirmed. Names. No ceremony during pandemic. 2020, 75th anniversary. Residents stay home, think about victims. Remember, community bonds over tragedy, over forgiveness, over peace with former enemy. Michelle Durant, archaeologist for Fremont-Winema National Forest. Oversees Mitchell Monument. Notes, Japanese women who made balloons visit multiple times over years. Stay in contact with community. 6 cherry trees planted in 1995. 2 still standing. Powerful symbol. 2 cultures coming together, finding peace, finding forgiveness. Even though it was a horrific thing, something good comes from it. Durant's words, 2020 interview. Lift capacity, 300 pounds operating altitude, 1,000 pounds sea level. Payload, 133-pound Type 92 high explosive anti-personnel bomb, 4 11-pound thermite incendiary bombs. Total bomb weight, approximately 77 pounds. Ballast, 32 sandbags. Total approximately 155 pounds. 3 to 7 pounds each. Released in pairs, 2-minute intervals between releases. Control system, 3 redundant aneroid barometers. Calibrated 25,000 to 27,000 feet. Lower threshold triggers, ballast release. Upper threshold 38,000 feet, triggers gas relief valve. Bomb release altitude, 13,000 to 20,000 feet. Separate altimeter. 1 hour activating fuse at launch. Self-destruct. 3-minute fuse after last bomb release. Detonates picric acid block. Destroys carriage. 82-minute fuse follows. Ignites hydrogen. Destroys envelope. Complete evidence elimination. Design elegant. Execution variable. Success rate low, but concept proven. Pre-launch set sandbag release mechanism based on estimated wind speeds. Ensures balloon over US before payload release. Good day. 200 balloons launched. November 1944, 700 total. Peak month March. 1945, 2,500. Final month, April, 400. Last launch, April 20th. Resources exhausted. Hydrogen plants bombed. Paper supply depleted. Kozo trees gone. Information vacuum persists. Decision made. Halt program. No revival planned. War ends 4 months later. Other Japanese attacks on U.S. mainland. February 21st, 1942. I-17 shells, Santa Barbara. Elwood Oil Facility, minimal damage. September 1942. Nobuo Fujita drops incendiaries from seaplane. Siskiyou National Forest, small fires. Contained, Fugo exceeds both, 9,300 attempts. 300 documented arrivals, unknown number additional. 6 deaths. Property damage, minimal. But scope larger, duration longer. November 1944 to April 1945. 6 months, systematic campaign, not isolated incident, mass production, industrial scale, military organization, 3 battalions, 2,800 men, strategic planning, intercontinental ambition, different category entirely. Psychological, neutralized by censorship, no panic, no morale impact, public largely unaware until May. After program ended, after Germany defeated, strategic, failure, didn't divert resources significantly. Firefly project deployed but fought regular fires, not balloon fires. Didn't tax war effort, didn't knock lumber industry back. Goal unmet. Technical success. Proved intercontinental atmospheric weapon delivery possible. First in history. Influenced later development. ICBM research. High altitude balloon research. U.S. develops E-77 balloon bomb post-war. Based on Fugo. Anti-crop agent delivery. Not used operationally. 1954 to 55. WS-124. A flying cloud program. High altitude balloons. Weapons of mass destruction delivery. Found infeasible. Inaccuracy problems. But Fugo proved concept. Legacy indirect, but real. 6 names, 6 lives. Elsie Mitchell, 26, pregnant, first child never born. Sherman Shoemaker, 11. Edward Engen, 13. Jay Gifford, 13. Joan Patsky, 13. Dick Patsky, 14. May 5th, 1945. Gerhardt Mountain, Fremont National Forest, Oregon, 13 miles northeast Bly. 1 balloon, 1 bomb, 33 pounds, fragmentation, high explosive. Laid undisturbed approximately 1 month. Snow. Thaw. Discovery. Detonation. 6 deaths. Instant or shortly after. Archie Mitchell survives. Burns hands. Loses wife. Loses unborn child. Loses 5 parishioners. Lives with it. Remarries. Continues ministry. Southeast Asia. Kidnapped 62. Vietnam. Never seen again. 2 tragedies. 1 man. Fate cruel. Fate. Shrapnel scars. Physical evidence. Historical marker. Only place continental United States. Enemy action deaths. World War II. Distinction nobody wants. But history demands acknowledgement. truth, documentation, remembrance. Bly provides all three. Small town, big history, never forgets. Meiji University Ikuta campus, Japan. Museum dedicated to balloon bombs, history, mechanics. Regarded once as decisive weapons. Comprehensive overview, Operation Fugo. Reveals chilling details. Initial plans, biological weapons, germ agents, anthrax, cowpox virus, rinderpest virus, livestock disease. Plans existed. Emperor refused. October 25th, 1944. No deployment. Museum promotes peace message. Educates about secret warfare perils, ethical consequences, preventing future, learning from past. Intelligence debriefings, survivor interviews, forensic analysis, comprehensive research. Ilana Saul. On Paper Wings, documentary, former schoolgirls. Bly community, meetings, reconciliation, healing, peace, multiple perspectives. Japanese, American military, civilian, technical, human. Complete picture emerges. Weapon, campaign impact, legacy, all documented. Chinese surveillance balloon over United States. Fugo remembered. 1944 precedent. History repeats, technology changes, principle same. Defense strategies. Informed by 1944 experience. Fugo unintended contribution. All automatic. Foundation for guided missiles, satellites, Fugo early ancestor. Cooperation requested. Media complies. Total blackout. Only Chinese newspaper reports. Single article. Everything else suppressed. Japan launches blind. No intelligence returns, no damage reports, no casualty figures, no fire confirmations, no panic indicators, nothing. Silence complete. Frustrating, baffling, decision inevitable. Resources scarce, evidence lacking. Conclusion, failure. Cancellation, April. Last launch, April 20th. Program ends. Information warfare wins. Not bullets, not bombs, not interceptions. Information denial, simple, effective, decisive. Modern lesson. Information control. Strategic weapon. Fugo case study. Understanding improves, but mystery remains. How many still hidden? Fitting symbol, tragedy, reconciliation, hope. Monument serves purpose, education, remembrance, healing, all three. 1995. Contact established, maintained. Relationships built, former enemies, now friends. Shared history, different perspectives. Common humanity, reconciliation possible. Achieved, model for others. Wounds heal, time helps, effort required. But healing happens. Monument proves it. Cherry trees prove it. Ongoing contact proves it. Effective coordination, media cooperation, military secrecy, intelligence gathering, forensic geology, technical analysis, all successful. But 6 deaths, civilian casualties, home soil. Only ones. Continental US, World War II. Unique. Tragic. Preventable if blackout lifted earlier. But strategic calculation made. Risk accepted. Greater good argument. Prevent panic. Deny enemy intelligence. Save lives overall. Calculation proved correct. Program ended. No more deaths. But Bly victims pay price. Historical irony. Sharp. Painful. Necessary. Debatable. Effective. Yes. Cost. 6 lives. Always 6 lives. From hundreds reached. From thousands launched. Success rate low for both sides. Japanese want damage. Don't get it. Americans want interceptions. Don't get them. Nature wins. Atmosphere dictates. Wind. Pressure. Temperature. Chaos. Unpredictability. Both sides learn. Nature can't be controlled. Only understood. Partially. Imperfectly. 1944. Understanding limited. Today better. But still imperfect. Still learning. Fugo taught lessons about atmosphere, about limits, about hubris. First automated long-range delivery system first, and only enemy weapon to kill civilians on continental US in World War II. Firsts matter, deaths matter, lessons matter, memory matters, monument stands, names remain, story continues. 80 years later, still relevant, still remembered, still teaching. Dr. Clarence Ross leads investigation, microscopic examination, diadems identified. Species known only from Japanese scientific papers, beaches north of Tokyo, eastern Honshu coast, specific locations pinpointed. From sand samples in ballast bags, dropped from balloons, launched from those same locations, circle closes, evidence confirms, intelligence succeeds, military geology unit, Colonel Sidman Poole, forensic geology, born from this. FBI adopts method, permanent program, continues today, solving crimes, locating sources, identifying origins, all from Fugo sand analysis, unintended legacy, lasting contribution, science advances, investigation improves, from war weapon to peace tool. Jet stream weaponized, forensic geology founded, media censorship proven effective, information warfare validated, atmospheric science advanced, all from paper balloon, hydrogen gas, winter wind, Japanese desperation, American response, 6 tragic deaths, complex legacy, simple monument, 2 cherry trees, 1 pine tree, shrapnel scars still visible. 80 years later, still there, still teaching, still remembering. 5,000 miles, 60 hours, paper and hydrogen, altitude control, automated systems. Landed near Bly, waited in snow. Spring came, children found it. Elsie saw it, Archie warned. Too late, explosion, 6 dead, only deaths. Continental U.S. enemy action, World War II. Monument marks spot, names on bronze. Stone endures, story continues. Lesson clear, war reaches everywhere. Even remote Oregon forest, even picnic in May. Even children on outing, nowhere safe when weapons cross oceans on wind alone. Technology makes distance irrelevant. Balloon proved it first, missiles proved it later. Distance no defense, geography no protection. Atmosphere connects all, wind flows everywhere, carries everything, even death. Even 80 years ago, even today. Foucault taught that. Bly remembers. We should too.